everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making this KURAMA mask from Naruto. This is going to be a 5-parted series of me showing my process of how I made this mask. I have decided this is going to be my content from now on, so if you enjoy this, please subscribe. I'm trying to get enough views to be able to get monetization from YouTube so that I can make this into a career to help support my business. This is the finished product that we have for today. I'd like to mention by no means is this a tutorial. This is just me showing my process of how I made this and what I normally do when making masks. It is also, to be honest, to help me feel more motivated to do this. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So I normally like to get this EVA foam Silly Winks from Hobby Lobby. I really like the thickness of this stuff. It really helps keep it sturdy. This is optional, but this stuff comes with it, and it's clear plastic, and honestly, I like to keep it aside to put them on the eyes to make them extra shiny. You are going to need some EVA foam or cardboard, hot glue and hot glue gun, paper and pencil, and strong scissors. I like to make my own pattern from scratch, but I liked this one so much that I might try and make a pre-made pattern online. So if you really like how this looks, please let me know in the comments. I'll see if I can go about making a pattern for sale, and maybe even with a snout included and all that kind of stuff. I like to use a pencil because it's very easy to erase any mistakes, and it usually doesn't bleed. It might smudge, but it won't be very noticeable if you do anything with it. If you are using this video as a tutorial, keep in mind that you are going to need to put some kind of triangle shapes in spots that are going to have a curve in it. I can't exactly explain right now as to the physics on that, but I've learned from fursuit making that doing this can help bring more structure and definition into your mask. It's always really good to make sure to add more on the bottom than less, because it's easier to add more than it is to take away. Make sure to keep the eye holes very close to the mouth. Every time I've made my own bases, I'll have a different pattern, mostly because I can never remember what works the best, because I'm so impatient that sometimes I'll just start cutting before I try to tape it down to make sure that I save the pattern for later if I like it. But I also end up having to do edits to it on the EVA foam after cutting it out and gluing it all. But this time, I kept my pattern, so if this ends up looking so good, I will try to do some edits to it, and I might try to sell it, and I will probably use that for my masks from now on. Recording these always kind of gets super scary, because I can never tell if what I'm going to do is end up going to actually work or not, because like I said, I just kind of end up winging it most of the time. It looks so funny like that. But as you can see, the slits work really well, and it makes it look so 3D. Again, if you're using my video as a tutorial, please be careful whenever you take out the eyes, because it can poke you very easily if you're not careful, especially if you're using really thick paper like newspaper or maybe cardboard paper. You don't have to worry about making the eyes look pretty yet. That's kind of a last step that you do on the EVA foam instead of on the actual pattern. But if you really want to, you can make an eye pattern first. This part's pretty simple. You just take out a block of your EVA foam, and I noticed that there's a bit of a funky part on the very top, so I was probably going to trace out more of a curve on the top. Later you can see how well that worked out, and I'm glad that I did it. Keep in mind that you're probably going to cut some parts off later. Like I said, it is way easier to cut off than to try and add more. I've been so careful about trying to make tutorials in the past, mostly because I always wing it whenever I make a mask. I almost never keep the same thing that I do. I like to try new things most of the time, and I don't know if you noticed this, but it's kind of a good thing I started doing that, because you can probably see a huge incline of my mask quality from then into now. I mean, I used to use hot glue for the teeth. And I don't mean to put the teeth together, I mean I made the teeth out of hot glue. If you have any suggestions on what I should talk about in the next video, then by all means, please do. If you have any, maybe some fun facts you'd like to tell me about the character KURAMA, or KURAMA, I think. I never watched Naruto, so I know nothing about the character. I just know that I got a commission for him, and it was super exciting because his character design looked so cool, and I was so excited to implement it into a mask. However, because I don't know the character, I also don't know what to talk about. So please, by all means, let me know any kind of fun facts you know about this character. Maybe you really like Naruto and that's why you clicked on this video. Normally when I make videos like this, I like to talk about the creature that I'm making, but they normally end up being actual animals, so I can do research on them a little better, and there's more of a wide range to talk about. But I guess while this video is going on, I can just talk to you about the things that the commissioner told me about. So apparently, I could be not doing this right, but they're actually not the same character. The Nine-Tailed Fox, KURAMA, and Naruto. For some reason, I thought that they were the same, but I think that they're two separate entities. Now, I'm pretty sure that the Nine-Tailed Fox is like an actual mythical legend of some kind from Asian myths. Myths is so hard to say for some reason. I don't know why. Myths. Myth. I can't do it. I can say specific, but not myths. So weird. Anyways, I use a hot glue gun for this. Please be careful if you are under the age of, I don't know, 13 or less. I don't know. This stuff hurts really bad. Okay? Trust me, I worked on fursuits since I was 12 years old, and I still get burned. This is optional, but I like to use clips to keep them together. They're kind of hard to do sometimes because it likes to come apart, and you'll probably see me struggle a little bit occasionally. It gets pretty annoying. However, I definitely prefer the clips over having to hold them for forever. As you glue, you can already see a huge difference in shape, and it makes it look so much nicer. This is your reminder that if you haven't subscribed already and you've gone this far, then please do get the notification bell. Liking the video can really help boost it, and if you want people to see more of this, then please do. I'm trying to get more out there, and I'm trying to become a YouTuber. Like, almost a full-time YouTuber. So commenting, subscribing, and liking can really help boost it. As I work on these videos, I'm going to try and talk about this creature as much as I can. I'll spread it out so that I have more and more details to share. I will say right now, I am sorry if I get anything wrong or if I'm saying anything incorrectly. I literally not watched this series in my life, and I'm quite literally relying on a friend and on Wiki. But if you'd like watching me struggle and maybe mess up a few things, and you probably find it pretty funny, then I'm sure you'll enjoy these videos. Also, if you want your mask commission or a mask that you request from me to be featured in a video like this, then feel free to message me out. You can message me through Discord or Instagram, and I will most likely post a video along with making the mask. Fun thing about my commissions is that I usually never say no to them. I like to have a challenge most of the time, which means that if you keep getting denied by people because you have a bird stereotype, maybe a lizard, or a bovine, or something that isn't a wolf or a cat or a fox, then you won't be denied by me, because I, by all means, will try to work on that creature the best I can. Given, I won't say that it'll be perfect, because it'd be my first time working on said creature. However, I love the chance to be able to work on things that I've never worked on before. I love having creative freedom with things like that. So if that's something that you'd be interested, definitely let me know in the comments, or message me on Instagram or Discord. And now that the mask base is pretty much done, everything is glued together, it looks so much nicer, and it's so 3D, it's so round, and I love how it looks. It's exactly what I envisioned in my head. So I will most likely be making a pattern for this base, as the reason as to why is because I just love how it looks so much. If you're using clips, please be careful not to break your clips because the glue sometimes tries to get stuck to it. This is sped up and it still took forever to get off. Something that you can do with the mask, if you don't like how it looks underneath, feel free to cut more. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's very useful to be able to do that, but it's better to do it after you glue everything down instead of after, so that you know what needs to be there and what doesn't. But I don't recommend taking off too much, because you take it off after you put the muzzle on, so that way you have enough room to put the muzzle down and you're not like struggling to find a place to put it. And after you put the muzzle down, you can take off any excess that you don't need. So, now I'm going to continue with fun facts about the KURAMA. So, apparently, KURAMA, more commonly known as the nine-tailed fox, is one of the nine-tailed beasts. Now, KURAMA apparently hates humans because of them being regarded as a mindless monster and only wanted for a tool of war. So I think this is where I kind of got confused, but apparently he is sealed into Naruto Uzumaki. They are not the same, they are different entities, but they're sealed into. That's honestly something really similar to an OC that I have that I am writing a book for, which, by the way, if you didn't know, I'm actually writing a book, and I have been for a while. I've been making this series for like 2 years. If you're interested, let me know, and I can probably drop the Wattpad if you want. But apparently, at first, KURAMA really despises everything still, despite being in Naruto's body, but because Naruto is like, hey, I like this world, KURAMA kind of does this whole switcheroo thing. KURAMA and the tailed beasts first came into being in the waning days of, I'm gonna mispronounce this, Hagoromo Atsuki. I really hope I didn't just summon a demon. Okay, the more that I look at this, the more that I realize I have no idea what they're talking about right now, but I'm gonna try my hardest. I'm probably gonna screw some stuff up, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Hagoromo Atsuki. And he used his creation of all things technique to divide the 10 tails chakra into 9 separate bodies, who gave them each a name. After a while that they were created, the sage explained to the young-tailed beasts that a link existed between them despite their separation. He also foretold of a day that they would be brought together again, but not as they were before, not in the same existence shape, I guess, which I am assuming that is talking about being in Naruto's body for KURAMA. I think I might be incorrect on this, but the time whenever they are recreated, someone would emerge to show them what true power is. Right before his death, Hagoromo sent KURAMA to live in a temple built for the purpose of protecting it in a forest region, with mountains that would later become part of the Land of the Fire. Over time, KURAMA gained a fearsome reputation as a natural disaster that can desolate areas with the darkest aspects of human nature collect and fester. So, this guy was, known as a natural disaster spreader. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no wonder, this guy was so, hated amongst people. He really did not like humans. Oh my goodness. I think that I'm going to try and implement his rage against humans into this mask somehow, kind of with maybe some snarls, some angry expressions, probably with a lot of dark shadows around his wrinkles and stuff. By the way, fun fact, you can actually make a little square right amongst that, and then you can trace a shape that connects both of the muzzle and the base, and it makes it look a lot smoother. As you probably may have guessed, this is my first time doing this. I just thought that it might end up looking good. Normally, I try to make the base a whole lot more 3D, but because the mask base was actually so 3D, I didn't even have to do that this time, and I just needed to make a muzzle and make it connect. So here you can see it turned out so pretty, and I love how it looks. If you just want to make a simple canine base or a fox or something, feel free to use this as reference because it was so much easier than I expected it to be. And I'm not sure if you know this, but it is recommended actually to cut a bigger hole for the eyes because whatever you put on it will make it end up being smaller. So if you want to have more vision, make sure to make the eyes a little bit bigger. After you've gotten the muzzle all made, you can now snip up any pieces that are really close to the edge. Now that the base is all done, we're going to make the ears. Now, usually I would just make a little paper base and it'd be easy, but because this guy has such long ears, I decided that I wanted to just put like a paper right next to his face and make it look like his ears are going to the side. Normally, I would make a bigger curve on the upper part to fold over on top of the base, but because I wanted to shape this with foam clay instead of shaping it with the actual EVA foam, I thought that it'd be easier if I just made it one flat base. But if I can get another commission soon, then I'll most likely try and do that version with the mask instead, because I like to try and make it a little more 3D, but because this guy has such a unique ear shape, I figured that it would be probably easier if I did it that way instead. Whenever you are tracing the ear pattern onto the EVA foam, make sure to make a bit of a curve where you want the ears to lay. This will help it blend in with the mask a little more, make it less probably annoying on your head whenever you wear it. And I cannot recommend this enough, but do get some heavy-duty scissors. Get a big supply of scissors, like a whole variety, because it's really helpful whenever cutting this stuff. And if you're using cardboard, especially when you're using cardboard, get some heavy-duty scissors or some kind of stronger scissors. Now, something that I like to do is I like to put the already cut ear shape onto the other side of where I want to cut the next ear out so that I can make it as symmetrical as possible. This part was super easy. All I really had to do was glue the inside of the head where I wanted the ears to be, and it just sat there so nicely. And they're so wiggly right now, but I think that after I put the foam clay on it, it's not going to be as wiggly. Put a sparing amount on it, don't put too much, but definitely put enough to where it won't fall off. I get super impatient whenever I glue, so I normally like to just hold down the other side of the ear onto the floor while I'm, making the other ear stick, and then after a while, it's normally dry by then, so I can switch it to the other side. But now, as you can see, it looks so nice. I love how it turned out. Now, you can if you want, but I wanted to put some little EVA foam onto where the eyes, above the eyes, to make kind of an angry expression so that I can use that as a base to build off of to make him look more angry and kind of just give it a better look, more defined, more detailed. This is absolutely optional, and if you want to make a snarl and you don't want to use foam clay, you could either put hot glue on top of the upholstery foam after you use it if you are using upholstery foam. And if you don't want to do that, you could probably get some EVA foam strips and cut that out as well and make them into curls to make a snarl. If you want me to make a waterproof mask, which by the way, the ones that I'm making in this video are not waterproof. You cannot submerge it in water, but I can make one. However, it would have to be made of upholstery foam, which is a bit different, and it is a little bit more complicated to make. But if you want me to try and make a video on that, then feel free to let me know in the comment section below, and I can show you my process of how I'm making an upholstery foam base. But yeah, I'm just putting these eyebrows on, mostly just for looks, and it is done. Thank you all so much for watching the first part of this series. I can't wait to work more on this mask with you guys. I already have another video in the works as I work on the clay part of this process. But yeah, this has been a super fun video to make. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please let me know in the comment section so I know what I can improve on. Eventually, whenever I have all parts finished, I will submerge them all into one big video so you guys can just watch that in its entirety. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in part 2. Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. It has been a journey working on this mask. Though I am editing this video on CapCut, which I think everyone knows by now, is super glitchy and it has a lot of issues that come along with it. So at times, it'll delete things I didn't want it to delete, it'll add a whole nother video that I didn't even do. So these videos just take a very, very long time. But if you would like to help support me making these videos, you could always check out my Ko-Fi. It is completely optional, but I have a few monthly subscriptions that you can go on to. Some of them can give you free art, some are discounted items, and many other cool things. I plan to make more eventually, but for right now that's all I have. And again, if you want your mask featured in one of these kinds of videos, please let me know. My contacts are right over here, and most of them are just River is so confused or River is confused. They're pretty easy to remember. You could probably just search them up sometimes, and it'll just come up automatically. But if you message me there, and you can ask for a commission, and with your permission, I can feature your mask being made in one of these kinds of videos. You can also check out my Ko-Fi prices on Ko-Fi, because that's where I hold many of my commissions at. My prices normally go from $150 to $900, depending on, the complexity and that kind of thing. But if anyone on here is a fursuit maker, they probably know that this can get pretty expensive, and sometimes the commissions don't exactly hold up to as much as I would like it to, especially with the ultra-human community kind of dying off recently. I want to start fursuit making a little more, but right now I don't have the funds or the time, so literally any donation at all would be so helpful, and especially commissioning, because if I have content, then that's all I need for now. Before I send off, please, please, please like and share the video and subscribe if you really enjoyed this kind of content, because doing so can really help out the algorithm and really push my videos out there. In order for me to make monetization, I have to have at least 3,000 views hourly views for YouTube to consider me a part of the monetization program, and that's just to apply for it. So by any means, if you can help me get there, that would be so very helpful, and I'd be very grateful. Any donations that you give, I am so willing to shout you out at the end of these videos. I currently have one member of my premium membership on Ko-Fi, and their name is Calamity, so everyone say thank you, Calamity, for helping support this. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!